Hello ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to show you how to solve sound and microphone issues in your laptop, desktop and Windows and so on, because sometimes you can talk and people cannot hear you but you can hear them, and it's frustrating sometimes, or your microphone may be muted. So this video will show you multiple steps to be able to solve your issue. The first step is make your microphone available to other applications. So we go into setting. You can go to setting from multiple way. Just type setting here and you go to privacy. So privacy is the first method we're going to use, the first method. So when you click on it and you go here to microphone, and you want to make sure that your microphone here is on, because if it's off, it means that it won't allow other apps to access your microphone, and that's going to be a problem. Just make sure that this part here is on. And sometimes if you scroll down here, you will see those applications that have access to your microphone. Sometimes you have to explicitly specify that the application need to have access to your microphone. So this is the first step. So the first step is the privacy issue, how to make sure that all of your apps have access to your microphone. And you go to setting, and then you go to microphone here, and then you go to you toggle this one. You just want to make sure that this is on. So this is the first part here. Okay, so if this one doesn't solve your problem, then you have to go to method number 2. Okay, and method number 2 is to make sure that your microphone is not muted. I mean, there are many ways. You have to go to the control sound control panel. There are many ways to go down there. Okay, I'm gonna choose many ways to go down there. You can even go back to setting if you want. I'm just gonna show you many ways, and then you can click sound here, and then you can click here. Okay, so and then you can click sound control panel. I mean, there are many ways, but you need to go to this sound control panel and this window will come up. Okay, I mean, you can do a lot of things in this windows here, and even down here you can make sure that this one should be, when you talk, it should be moving, just to make sure that your microphone is on. Okay, it can be on but people still don't hear you. That's the problem. So here you have recording, and you want to make sure that when you talk, these things move. Okay, so you can go to recording and check, and sounds here. You can look at all of this here, but when you click on this guy here, and then you go to property here and you go to level, automatically you want to make sure that this one just click on it, and then you see. So sometimes this one is off. Okay, and that can be one of the problem you may have. Okay, so you go to level and then make sure that this one is blue. Okay, and that's method number 2. So method number 2, you go to the sound control, and I'm gonna go back again. So you go back here, you go to your sound control here, you go to sound, so you can see the sound control here, and then you can go to your recording, and then you click on it and you go to property. Okay, so and then you go to level. That's where you make sure. So that's method number 2. So this one, if this one is working fine, and usually it should work fine if you can talk and people cannot hear you. So you have to move to number 3, and number 3 was my problem, because I was talking, I can hear people and people couldn't hear me. Everything was on, so from the sound to everything, nothing was muted. And what I realized that is, well, I tried all of this technique, it didn't work. Then I came here. You see recording here. If you go to configure here, not configure here, you go to property here, and then you go to advanced, and that was my problem here. Advanced, this one, those three guys were selected. You have to unselect them. Okay, so this is exclusive method. Okay, and signal enhancement. Once I deselect those 2 elements, everything was working fine. So you have to make sure that you go to advanced, and you have to if those guys are selected, you have to click on it so that to make sure that they are not selected like mine here, because mine, this one was here, like here, and then it was giving trouble. I can talk, people cannot hear me, but I can hear people, and because of this, those 2 guys, and this is in exclusive mode and signal enhancements. Okay, those guys shouldn't be selected, and that's method number 3. You go to advanced. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. So there are many ways to be able to go there. You can go to sound control, sound, you go to sound here, and then you go to sound control here, and then you go to recording, then you go to property, and then you go to advanced. Those are here. Okay, so those are elements you need to check. Now if this doesn't work out, so you have to make sure that your microphone is working. Okay, so method number 4. So method number 1, we saw that privacy never, and method number 2, make sure that nothing is muted. Method number 3, advanced, make sure that you don't have those advanced element selected. We saw that. So method number 4, just to make sure that your microphone is working fine. Okay, so you can come back here, setting. If you want to go back here, you can tap setting here, and then you can look at ease of access. This is another way to make sure that and then you can go to change other sound setting here. So when you click on it, you can look at here, and you can go to configure, and when you go to configure, this is just to make sure that this one is working. Okay, you can start with start speech, next, and if you want to see your microphone, and next, and you see when you talk, this one should be moving. In my case, this one wasn't moving at all. Okay, if you don't see anything moving here, it means that you have a problem, and using the method 3, you can solve it Advanced. Okay, so this one can allow you to double check quickly, you know, if your microphone is working fine. Okay, and so that's one way to check quickly. So, and you can get out. So this method, you go to configure. Okay, the other one was go to, you know, method. The previous one was property advanced, but this one is configure, just to check. Configure allow you to check. Okay, if you know if your microphone is working fine. Go here and then you go next, and then here. Okay, here. So and then the other one is just I mean, we've seen it, so I mean, so that was just here to make sure that, you know, this one is working fine here. Yeah, now if nothing is working, then you have to update your drivers. And the next one is update your drivers. So you go to device manager. Okay, so you have your drivers here. Now there are two places, you know, if you come here, audio, you know, audio input and output, and this is the one. Okay, you can right click and update your driver, and this one will, you know, come here. You can do this one, and if it doesn't work, you can do this one. Okay, you can search automatically for drivers. And then if this doesn't work, you can also try this one here. You click on it, and then you pick, and then you can pick the first one here, and then you click next. Okay, and then you also need to look at this one here. So you have audio input and output, and this one here you have sound, video, and game control. You can, you know, update your drivers, do the same things here, you know, and if those don't work, just worst case scenario, remove them. Okay, you can uninstall them, and then you reboot your computer, and then they're gonna be installed automatically. So those are a couple of elements you need to do. If you do all those steps, your microphone should be working. And worst case scenario, then you may have to, you know, recover, reinstall your Windows. I mean, you can, you know, reinstall it, and making sure that you go to the previous step, I mean previous version. It's just to avoid that maybe you did something, and then you know, you did some step that didn't work out. So by, you know, by reinstalling your Microsoft, then you can, you know, clean up a lot of things. But the step I show you, if you do that, you should be fine. So those were the different steps to be able to check your sound and microphone. And thank you very much.